Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Angela with The Simple Quiet Life. Today we are going to talk about creativity and making things with our own hands. Now I know that most people who are watching my channel are really interested in the simple life, living a quiet life, kind of bringing back some of the old ways that our grandparents and great grandparents used to follow, and even people before that. Of course, we don't want to bring everything back from the past, but there are some very valuable things that people did in the past, and we're mostly talking about things women did on this channel. Not so much what men did. There's other channels for that if you want to go see that, but I'm talking to women, and we're just talking about things that are beneficial, helpful to us in this day to make our lives more focused on the things that matter most, which number one is the Lord, number two is our marriage, number three is our family, and then comes our friends and the people around us. And so today I want to start by reading 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 11 and 12, which are the key verses for my channel. And I just want to focus on one certain part of these verses today. So it says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody. There's really a lot there. We could talk a lot about many things in there and apply those things to our life. But today we're going to talk about the part where it says to work with your hands. Now, when we think of work, most of the time we think of, like, at least I do, think of like cleaning and like going to work. If for those of us who have part-time jobs or jobs outside the home, but also we think of work as um, anything that we really don't enjoy doing, maybe. And one thing that occurred to me, not, probably over the last several years, is that a lot of the things that we do today in our culture, in our time period, a lot of the women like me are starting to do more crafts and like trying to create things with our hands that we didn't really know how, things we didn't know how to do, like planting gardens, maybe quilting, sewing, crocheting, just trying our hand at different things. And I feel like I had a benefit over some other women, not every woman, of course, but I think I had the benefit of being able to be home with my children for so long that we kind of incorporated doing a lot of those things. And like I learned how to do a lot of things and to exercise my creativity because I had the time, and I just had the, I guess, the opportunity to work with my children in creating. And so I created a lot more over the whatever 30 years it was that I was homeschooling. Now, going back before homeschooling, I didn't grow up in a family where we really created very much. I would say we worked more. At least I worked more, and I would call it work. I wouldn't call it like fun and creativity. But I want that being said, back in the olden days, the women, when they made, um, say they made a quilt, or they were baking, or they were cooking, they were doing these things because they had to do them. These were life skills. These were just things they needed to survive and take care of their family. But nowadays, a lot of times we are making these things because we're learning how to make them. We want to learn how to make them, and we're also making them for fun, you know. But we can't, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I just wanted to kind of point out that realization that I came to, like, oh, all of these crafts and hobbies that we're doing these days, that are the olden day crafts and hobbies, are things that back in the day the women would have considered it work. And of course they had quilting bees and they had fun doing that, but it was like they had to make it, they had to have a blanket, and they didn't have a store where they could go buy a blanket, so they made a quilt. And it was work. It wasn't so much like, like, oh, I have to sit down and do this quilt today. Maybe they thought that, but for us, it's exciting. I can't say making a quilt is always exciting to me. I have made a couple, but I didn't really enjoy that as much as I enjoy some other things. But so we're going to talk about working with our hands, creating with our hands, and some of the benefits that come from doing that. Even though we live in the modern day, we can still we have the blessing of taking enjoyment in what the things we're making, and it's not so much work to us. So let's just get right into it. I am going to read something by out of the Tasha Tudor book. This is the book called let's see, Drawn from New England, Tasha Tudor. And I just really enjoyed this little story. Her daughter wrote this book, Bethany Tudor, and she tells about her mother. It's just beautiful what she says about her mother in this book. And I am so amazed by Tasha Tudor because she was a modern woman who lived in an old-fashioned way. And she chose to do things the old-fashioned way. And here's one example of what she chose to do. It's called weaving and spinning. This is on page 76. It begins on 76. And let me show you the picture here too before we start. There we go. Okay. So ever since she was a child, Tasha Tudor has been interested in weaving. It was very difficult when she was young to find someone who knew much about it. Today, this is by no means the case, however. Now, many books and teachers are available to interested weavers. But my mother was determined to learn this craft. So much of her weaving skill was necessarily self-taught or gained from studying a few very old books. Now, Tasha Tudor lived before the internet was a big thing, so that's what Bethany's talking about here. My first memories of my mother's weaving were of watching as she made brightly colored rag rugs for the large kitchen floor. We sometimes helped her with these too. It was fun to cut the strips of old material and wind them onto the shuttle. Often, my mother dyed the pieces to make them a brighter hue. There was every sort of thing for us to get into and tangle, but in the end, those rugs certainly looked pretty. At one time, the big old loom stood in a corner of the kitchen. It was a very pleasant place for my mother to sit and weave when she was not busy with other housework. Underneath the loom, several striped kittens usually played. The place was irresistible to them, as there were many baskets full of spools, shuttles, and cloth strips ready to be woven. As tiny children, we played there also. I believe my mother's patience must have been sorely tried at times, but we were kept happy and busy. Though the rugs were useful and pretty, my mother really wanted to perfect her skill and make checked or plaid woolen and linen materials, such as the old-time weavers created. Over the years, she figured out most cleverly how to do all of these things. She often wears skirts, capes, and shirts made from her own hand-woven cloth. And I'm going to turn this around and show you some of the dresses and tops that she made herself from weaving her own cloth. Spinning flax also interested her. This procedure was learned mainly on her own or with occasional help from friends. She and her mother used to attend many wonderful auctions to buy things for a small antique shop, which, in addition to all her other activities, ran. On these excursions, my mother's love for old things was greatly stimulated. She found most of the implements she needed for spinning at these auctions, then taught herself the art. One time, when she was in her late teens in Connecticut, she grew a whole field of flax. Wow. That's like, when you think about that, she grew a whole field of flax. Then she went through all the procedures required: soaking it, retting it, cleaning it, dyeing it, until the flax was ready for spinning. After the threads were spun, she wove material and made a skirt or a shirt for her brother. It was a beautiful color, and he wore it for years and years. My mother says she was very proud of that shirt. It represented a great deal of work and skill, which she followed through from start to finish. I don't know if there's a picture of that shirt here. I don't think there is. So, but that is just, to me, so amazing. She grew the flax. She started from the very beginning. She grew the flax. She soaked it. She retted it, R-E-T-T. I don't even know what that means. I've never done that. She cleaned it. She dyed it until it was ready for spinning. And then after the threads were spun, she wove the material and she made a shirt for her brother. And it said that she was very proud of that. I can imagine how proud she would have been of that, because she started from the very beginning and just made the whole shirt from scratch. That's amazing. Now, I know most of us probably wouldn't do that, and I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm just saying that there is a huge sense of satisfaction in making things ourselves, in making them the way people made them in the past. I know it takes more time, but there's something very special about it. Let me read off some of the benefits of making things for other people by ourselves, and then I'm going to talk about some personal benefits to this. So when we make something for someone else and we give it to them, they are receiving a gift that is a one-of-a-kind gift, that it's not like any other gift that they could get. Even if it's something like baking cookies, you're baking cookies, you give them cookies. Every cookie in that batch is a slightly different shape, a slightly different size. Even if you've gone to 4-H and you've graduated from 4-H, your cookies are not going to be perfect. And they're going to be special because they have a personal touch to them. They're one of a kind. They have a personal touch. They're uniquely designed. Whatever you're making as a gift for someone, if it's a card, if it's a blanket, if it's a quilt, if it's just, I don't know, you name it, whatever it is, you have invested time, and they see that when they receive the gift, that you've invested time in making them a gift. It's more than just going to the store and grabbing something off the shelf. And I am not saying that those types of gifts aren't special. I'm saying that it's not as much went into going to the store or sitting on the computer and ordering something from Amazon. When we make something ourselves, we have put so much thought into, what is this product gonna look like? What is the end result that I want? Why do I want to make it for this person? What is it going to mean to the person? We put a lot of thought into it. It takes commitment. The person who receives the gift sees that we put commitment. We've been committed to them, devoted to them enough to take time to do this. We have shown them what perseverance looks like. We get through a task of making them something special, and wasn't always easy to do it. It took a lot of time to do it. And even though maybe we weren't very good at it, it was a task accomplished that was special that this person can learn from us, perseverance. And then, as I said, devotion, dedication. And also it can be, if it's something that's not eaten, it will be a keepsake. Of course, if you're eating it, it's going to be a memory, but we're creating keepsakes. We're creating memories as well. Okay, so also personal benefits to making things on our own. It could be something we make for ourselves. It would be something we make for someone else. But some of the benefits that we reap from that is a sense of accomplishment. When we start something from the very beginning and then we carry it through, just like Tasha Tudor, from beginning to end, she carried it through and she accomplished a task. She had a sense of pride, not bad pride, but just like, wow, look what I did. I can't believe I did this, Pleasure. We find pleasure when we've completed something and we've created something with our own hands. Remember what the Bible says, to work with your hands. And God knew when he told us to do that there would be personal benefits and benefits to other people through this. We have more confidence when we've created something. And then we learn too, it's trial and error, because we learn, did we enjoy making this? Is there another way, maybe a better way to make this? Maybe I don't want to make this anymore. Maybe I want to make something else, but it gives us some confidence, and it brings us joy to create something with our own hands, and it creates memories for us, not just in the gift giving, but when we make something, period, and we complete something with our own hands, we have memories created, and new skills learned. And then I mentioned trial and error. So God gave us all creativity. Now, I know I've heard people say, well, I'm not creative. I don't know how to make anything. And they, maybe look at other people and say, this person has so many gifts and I don't have any gifts. But I believe that God created everyone to be creative because he made us in his own image. And sometimes we don't know that we are creative because we haven't really been given the opportunity to be creative. Maybe in our childhood, we were not encouraged to be creative. Maybe we were, maybe like academics were more emphasized in our childhood, or maybe there were things that happened in our childhood that were traumatic that prevented us from being able to like focus and concentrate. There are just like all different kinds of reasons why people would not feel creative. Okay, so I had to turn the video off for a minute. I hope I'm starting back in the right place. But whether or not you think that you're creative or not, this video is not really about creativity at all. This video is about working with our own hands, accomplishing a task, and making something ourselves instead of buying everything on the shelves, spending money on everything, and having the reaping the benefits, and gifting other people with the benefits of things that we make. So I am going to tell you a few things that actually I think I'll show you something first, and then I'm going to end with my list of things that could possibly be things you can make yourself. Let me see here. Write one more thing down. Okay. I'm going to start by showing you some things that we've made in our family. We experiment a lot, especially during the homeschool years. We experimented a lot, and we learned to make things. Some things turned out good, some didn't. But here's one thing that my daughter is really good. Hold on, drop something there. All right, so my daughter is really good at making things like, this is not a commercial, by the way. I'm not selling any of these. She makes these for me, and it is such a blessing. When she gave these to me, I want to say maybe a couple months ago, she had made these and given them to me. If I can get the bag open. Okay. They are chapsticks. Sorry, it's taking so long. I don't edit my videos very often. Okay, so these are the chapsticks. I don't know if you can see these. And they are she just orders the containers, I guess on Amazon somewhere, and makes them with all natural ingredients. Some of them are red, and let's see here. Some of them are red. Let me see if I can find the other one. Yeah, I don't know. This one's a little bit lighter pink and darker red. And then she has some like more cream colored ones too. I don't think I have one of those here. But anyway, she makes these. They're all natural. She keeps them for herself. She gives them to me. She gives them to other family members and friends. And that is just really, really special. This is something else that she makes. This is actually called a healing salve. A healing salve. All she puts in it is extra virgin olive oil, shea butter, beeswax, lavender, comfrey, plantain, and yarrow. She buys these little tins, and she puts all the ingredients. She heats them up, and whatever she does with them makes this little salve. It smells really good. I'm not selling that either. I'm not selling any of this stuff. I'm just showing you the work that we do with our hands brings joy to other people, and it also brings satisfaction to ourselves. And that applies to this. Now, this is something that I made. This is a tea tree oil, just a spray bottle that you can buy from Walmart. This is a glass one. I think I got this from Walmart, maybe online, and it's tea tree oil and it has almond oil in it. And this makes a good, like, instead of spending our money on perfume, that's not good for us to be putting on our bodies anyway. Why not make our own, right? And I've also made these, which are little roll-on jars. They have a roll-on thing on the top there. This is like just like body spray. You know how like if you buy body spray, this is all natural. It's this one's lavender, this one's rose, and I have other ones that I've made. So just that, I mean, that just makes you feel good to have something healthy to put on your body, something that you have made on your own. And then another thing that I've made that's in the same department is this. Now, this is a store-bought container. You can see that. I probably paid $10 for that. But I got to thinking, and this was just actually the other day that I made this. These other things I made a while back. Got to thinking when this ran out, you know, I had put a little water in it just to kind of mix the water in with the oil and stuff. This is actually, I guess I didn't say what it was, rose water and glycerin. It's just like a body spray. You can spray it on your face, on your skin. And I got to thinking, you know what? It only takes 3 ingredients. I can just get this myself and make it myself. So that's exactly what I did. I looked up the recipe online and I made my own. It's pretty full. It's about this full, 3/4 full now because I've used some of it. But just use the same bottle and don't buy it anymore. You know, just make your own. It feels good to make your own stuff. This is something else I made many years ago. This is just probably nobody would like this except me, but I find this very convenient. It's an old M&M tube. What I did is I took some decorative paper. I just glued the decorative paper on it and see M&M on the top. And what I do here is not very full right now, but I just keep quarters in it. And it's just my way of storing extra quarters. If I go to garage sales, if I'm somewhere where I know I'm going to need some change, I drop them on the floor. If I go somewhere where I know I'm going to need some quarters or some change, I just take that with me. It's very lightweight to carry. You can also do the tall ones. This is the short one. I don't really like the tall ones. I want to say the short one holds like $14 and the tall one might hold around $20. Just so you know, in case you decide to do it. You wouldn't even have to put the paper on it. But it just feels good to have something like, why go buy a change purse when you could use this? Okay, and then something else that I've gotten into lately, I've started learning to do bookbinding, so I made my own journals. And this is just something I created. I did not do it out of my own creativity. I learned it from books and I learned it online. But it just feels good to make your own book, make your own journal, and you don't have to go buy one. Do I still go buy journals? Sometimes. This is another one that I made. And this one just has a little flap on it with lined pages in it. What did I write in the front? Oh, I was going to write the Book of Ruth in it, but I never did that. I did it in a different book, but this is probably one of my favorite ones because it's little. And it's just similar to the other one that I just showed you, but just basically paper from the store, and you sew it together and get your prepare your pages and sew it together, and you just learn it online. It's not like I was creative and did it. It's just that I learned it, you know. And that's something else I wanted to say, is that even if you don't think you're creative, you are creative for one thing, but another thing is that you have the ability to learn. We all have the ability to learn something. And so if we want to learn how to make something like any of these things I've shown you so far, then we have so many resources these days to learn and to make something ourselves. So we really don't have any excuse. We can't really say, oh, I'm not creative, I don't know how to do that, because we can do it. And it may not always turn out the way we like. But if we try enough things, we're going to find something we like. Now, this is something that I made many years ago. I just learned this online too. Old handkerchiefs. I want to show this one first. I don't make these very often anymore, but this was an old handkerchief that was my great grandmother's. It's not, well, it is actually embroidered around the edges. This part is this is a print. It's not embroidered, but I used to make these little dolls out of the handkerchief, and I chose to just take one of hers that my grandma gave it to me, but it was my great grandmother's, and I just made a little doll out of it. Now, as you can see, this one did not turn out very good. Like the arms are the way they're tied didn't turn out good because it was my first try. And so I want to show you some other ones that I made that turned out better. Like this one, as I did more of them, they turned out better. And basically what I did is I just went to antique malls. I looked for old hand embroidered handkerchiefs and made these. I looked online. I learned how to do it by looking online. This is a Christmas one. And I'm not selling these. Okay. And so it just feels good and it's fun to have something extra. And I have also given these as gifts to many people, many of the ladies in our family and friends and volunteers that I work with. And I've just given these to a lot of people. And let's see what else. So one time I made this little tiny 9-patch quilt because I was just reading Little House on the Prairie, and it was talking about Laura and Mary made their 9-patch quilts. And I thought, well, I could try that. I'm not really that good at quilting, but I could try it. So I did, and it didn't turn out too bad. There's the back. But I use this as a doily. I don't, go out and buy doilies. I just made this one, and well, I guess I have bought doilies in the past, but I try to do a few things to make my own. And currently I am working on a gift for someone that's handmade. Is a tea towel. This is for a friend of mine. Let me stand up and show you a little closer. It's not finished yet, but it's the little Bonnie Bonnet. My friend's name is Carol, and she has 2 cats. So Bonnie Bonnet has 2 cats there. And I am going to I have to finish the flowers. Then I have to finish the face of the cat that's standing on the ground. And each cat represents Carol's cats. One of them is called Hop Along. The one she's holding is Hop Along because it's missing a paw. And the one on the ground is Munchkin. Okay, now this time my video just went off on its own. So let me show you, I think, yeah, the one on the ground is Munchkin. Carol does not know about this, so I hope she doesn't watch the video before Monday, because I'm going to give this to her on Monday for her birthday. So as you can see, it just feels good to make things. Now I want to show you a couple things that someone made for me. I showed you what my daughter made for me, and then I'm going to show you this. This is really special to me because my grandma made it. My grandma's 98 now. She's made me a lot of things, but I'm only going to show you 2 things that she made me. So for one thing, she wrote my name on the little note. She always does that whenever she writes something. She'll, set it out. She made this in, I believe, 2019. She had made my daughter one, and then I said, "Oh, Grandma, I love that," and she made it for me. Made me one. It's really a little phone pouch. It has the handle, so she knitted this. And there's kind of a funny story behind it because I love these that she made, that you could put your phone in it, just put it over your shoulder, put your phone in it. I found out though that it doesn't really hold the phone as well as I thought because it's, it's just too stretchy and it just kind of stretches it out, but you can carry other things in it. But a funny thing is that I was asking my grandma, like, can you teach me how to knit? So she was trying to teach me how to knit, and I couldn't get it. I was getting frustrated. Like she was so patient because she was a school teacher before she retired. So she's always so patient teaching people how to do things. And she was so patient. She just kept working with me. And I was just like, oh, Grandma, I'm not good at this. I don't get it. I don't understand how to do it. I'm not seeing the row of stitches. Like it just seems, it's not turning out good at all. But she kept working with me. And then finally, after several tries, I just finally said, hey, listen, maybe we can work on this another time, because I just could not get it. So that's one example that, of something that I tried. I found out I didn't really like doing it. I didn't enjoy doing it. I couldn't get the hang of it, but I do appreciate what my grandma made me. And just knowing, like that she had that every single stitch she made by herself. And then the last thing I wanted to show is a quilt that my grandma made me. I'm not going to be able to show the whole thing, but this is a quilt she made me for my birthday one year. She put in every single block, she has pictures, and then she put a scripture verse in every block. Maybe sometime I'll show the whole thing. Here's one of the Bonnie bonnets. She used to do these all the time. Isn't that cute? Anyway, she did a great job, and I will cherish that forever. So, some ideas of things that you can make with your hands. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably make a lot of things with your hands, and make gifts for people, make things for yourself and your home. But designing, like interior design, some of you, I have a friend who's really, really good at interior design, fashion design, making your own clothes. I know a YouTuber who makes her own clothes, and I love watching her videos. I would not want to make my own clothes, but that's her thing. Like, she's really, really good at it. But if we lived in the olden days, we would be making our own clothes, ladies. Gardens, different kinds of gardens, vegetable gardens, flower gardens, cottage gardens, fairy gardens, all different kinds of gardens are possibilities. Making cards for people, cooking, baking, writing letters, like making your own cards, writing birthday letters to people, just putting your own creativity, putting your own work, the own work of your hands into it. So when they receive it, it's a personalized gift. What does that say? I have no idea what I wrote down here, but writing things, like writing stories, writing songs, and I said sewing. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. You know what kinds of things you like to do, and I'm curious. In the comment section, tell me what you already make with your own hands, what you create yourself, so that you don't have to go to the store and buy something, but what do you create yourself? And what are some of the things that you would like to learn how to make by yourself? All right, so this is getting to be the end of the video. My camera keeps cutting out on me and telling me I'm running out of storage. So I hope you all have a great day, and I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. God bless.